I'm your host, Micall Parknsun.
Myself, Nick from Blatantly Blunt.
We are here with the legend,
The one and only.
the man,
The myth.
Jehst. Billy Green is dead.
What's going on, sir?
Yeah? Dead. How you doing?
Thanks for having me.
How you feeling?
Well, actually, I'm hosting.
Alright, let's check this.
It's my house right now.
House right now.
I like the artwork, man. You
So
got
is
some
my-
nice artwork around your yard, man.
My
It's dope.
landlord is Ben Oakley. Ben Oakley is my
Big up
landlord
Ben
right
Oakley.
now. Ben Oakley at the Ben Oakley Gallery.
The
So,
Ben
yeah.
Oakley Gallery.
I shouldn't really say thanks for having me. Thanks to Ben Oakley for having us.
For having us.
You don't know nothing about Billy Green is dead, you
So,
know.
in terms of references on the album, you got Billy Green is dead. I googled that, yeah, because for whatever reason I saw then it's obviously Gil Scott-Heron, and I listened more into it, and obviously he's like the first, I would say, rapper, one of the first people that was making politically, socially conscious music in form of poetry before you could even say like the reggae dudes were doing it. Do you know what I mean? We're talking in the early 70s. Was that a big influence on you as a rapper? Like growing up listening to him at whatever age? Like was he somebody that kind of formed your sound to a certain extent?
No, I'd be lying if I said he was, but the fact that he passed in recent years, and he's someone who, in his passing, very aware that, you know, artists aren't necessarily continuing that legacy. And actually, I would more say that the legacy that he left throughout the 80s and 90s with that music that we were growing up on, the Public Enemies, the NWAs,
So he
not necessarily,
influenced them, and they
but you know,
influenced
Ice Cube,
So it's like second generation
yeah.
influence. in a way.
We were KRS, like it was so important to that, and also just more easily identifiable. But easily identifiable as the conscious mind, because it was always that.
The Wig song, I heard that one, that's pretty dope, talking about the ladies with the hair and shit, man. That's some,
Angel Dust,
you know?
too many joints.
So that one,
And he was
a
doing
direct reference
also
to him being an influence to you then, the album title?
No, I mean, I would not be his influence on me, but I'm saying more later, because when you say, is that where my sound comes from or whatnot, like, no, because my sound comes from, as a teenager, being heavily drawn. I mean, you know, I go back before that. Well, no, but I always say to people that I grew up on, you know, the kind of Run DMC, Def Jam, Cold Chillin' era when I was a little kid, but when I really started trying to do the thing and was really wanted to be really trying to involve myself and carve my own niche in it. It was Woo, it was Nas, it was and so lyrically it was like a certain type of lyricist, because things changed with your Illmatics and your Stress the Extinction Agenda, you know what I mean? Like records that really took lyricism in hip hop to another level.
Fat Joe
And-
represent.
No, I'm not putting that there. I'll put it there on the production, but not lyrics. So I'm saying there was two things that were happening that were influencing me as a teenager. That was the lyrical thing that was happening with your Nazis and your Wu-Tangs and your AZs and your OCs. You know what I mean? Like this is something different. This is something, and also feeling like, oh, I've got something to contribute. Because this is poetic. This isn't just about being some caricature guy. This is about being intelligent and imagery, and you know, just giving people an insight. So I felt cool. Let me work with this. I like that idea. And then there was what was happening sonically, where the sound of hip hop was evolving into what people know it as now, in the kind of J Dilla mad lib, like what people think. But really, what was happening was the whole DITC, Primo, through to like, I mean, off the back of Marley, but that whole thing happened with Primo, DITC, through to, you know, the Beat Miners, and then even later on people like Spinner. Oh, Beatnut's been there for days. That Brick Tribe, this thing that was developing, which was like, this is how you get this sound. Hip hop had found a sound and a formula, and it had simplified the formula.
Yeah.
So you know, like Bomb Squad was amazing, but Bomb Squad was crazy. Like everyone can't do that.
No one can.
But like that large pro.
But
Primo,
people like Pete Rock
Showbiz,
that sound as well.
Yeah, but they stripped it right down. Pete, yeah, I didn't say Pete Rock. So that's what shaped like really my foundation.
Yeah.
But in terms of understanding that, like, yeah, I do. I'm trying to justify my place in the legacy of, you know, a Gil Scott-Heron, through to a Chuck D, through to a Chester P, through to a Chester P. Through to a Kalashnikov, through to a Skinny Man. Skinny Man is a social commentator. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's about. It's about social commentary. Even like the reason why people right now are like gassed off like road rap shit in the UK, because it's social commentary. It's like they're talking about things that haven't been allowed into the mainstream, or like the reason why people are loving like Loyal Khan's records, because he's talking about everyday kid next door, lower middle class, just daily normal shit. It's relatable, and there hasn't really been a place for that, because you've got to be some kind of dancing stereotype.
Bro,
Like, see what I mean? You've got to be some kind of like threatening. Like, do you feel me though? Like, we're at a different time, but I'm trying to keep that.
So the title is in reference to his impact on the game before hip hop began,
and how it
you're continuing on that,
and how it should continue. How it should continue,
man.
because like you said, you weren't necessarily that familiar with Dude, and like you used the Drake reference, and I think when he passed,
that's when people
right. But when he passed, most of the people that were checking for him was off the back of doing the Jamie XX record, so it's much more of a kind of educated, bohemian music, like white, like more of a hipster crowd, arty crowd. No, but an arty crowd. But I'm talking about the Gil Scott-Heron, like.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's an educational artist.
But what I'm saying is hip hop has not acknowledged his past. It was the wider musical community that acknowledged it, but hip hop didn't feel any ownership. In the same way that, say, maybe like Fife passed, and there was a lot of like love, and so there should be. Fife Dog, rest in peace. Tribe Called Quest, one of the most influential, just sonically, if nothing else. But it's funny, hip hop didn't feel the same
towards him,
the same ownership, not even ownership, you know what I mean?
Affinity, you could say.
Affinity, that's the word. So I wanted to do that as well. It's like, why not name my album after Gil Scott-Heron joined? Because
you're gonna teach people about him,
No doubt there's kids that are like
educational, man.
Babies.
But also his context as well, like this is in the context of this. Without Gil Scott-Heron, this wouldn't have happened, and that wouldn't have happened, and Jehst wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like in the. But then you've birthed the whole scene yourself, bro, and that leads on to something else.
But I mean, I should let you wrap that up. I was just gonna say, because you know what, joints like England that I get so much like love for. Yeah, they definitely really exist.
Good robot, keep my head down, repenting in solitude. Money is God, I worship the currency, I must give thanks for my...
And it's now 2017. A lot of rappers have come and gone in that time, man. A lot of rappers have come and gone in that time, as you're fully aware. You fucked with a lot of rappers that have come and gone, which doesn't even reflect on their talent, bro. Because I can name 5 rappers right now that are way better than 5 rappers that are around that are massive,
No, but
so what do you think it is that determines whether a rapper makes it or not? Outside of his talent alone, there are other things. And what is it? You're still here. There's a lot of cats that are not here.
Listen.
You just said it. I'm still here. Turning up. Turning up.
And we don't mean the Little Johnsons.
Nah, not in the, exactly.
Turn up.
Then you get turned up after. Once you've turned up and done your job,
you get turned up.
Then you can get turned up.
Right.
But you're gonna get turned up and then you don't turn up. Because you didn't turn up because you was too busy getting turned up.
For real. I get
Are
you.
you with me,
I know that a lot of these guys are.
Did I
That's a book right there, man.
Did I just lose everyone?
No, you
I got pee.
Not get turned up.
And it is that.
Turn
I
up.
don't know who the quote is. It's something like, you know, I don't know.
Half the battle is turning up, basically.
Right, you feel
and
me?
so on, yeah.
It is that, man, because I look back on certain things. I remember like a few years ago, I don't even know why it came up, but it was the Kung Fu DVD. And I was like, damn, you would not watch, like, no discredit to myself, but you would not watch that DVD, because remember, they only ever did the first volume. They never got as far as, like, the second one. There's all kinds of footage in the vault, but they did that first DVD when it was like early days, and I thought, yo, you would never look at that and think that like I would be literally almost like maybe one of only like 2 or 3,
That's what I mean.
4 or 5
If that
guys.
yeah, that's still about.
I mean, like really, you could count them on a hand, probably.
But I think,
but I'm like, not to discredit myself, but just because the talent of some of the guys that you see performing, like the natural ability of some of the cats that were around the scene at that time, then you see that footage and it takes you back, and you're like, damn, like people really were robbed of you know, like I saw my man Osman on the 44th floor tour. I've not seen my boy there since he was on the Falling Down tour with me, touring with me. It's been many years since we've seen that. I ain't seen him. He's making movies now. But to me, I was always like, oh man, people Nick, like this guy could, he's dope, and he's got a USP. He's got a demographic market that he could just capitalize on. Like, he's talking about a lifestyle that is so real to a lot of people, and it's not being voiced, and there's no voice for it. So he was one of them, you know what I mean? I really always felt like, damn, people really robbed of that. You know, to this day, people talk to me about Universal Soldiers. And again, the same thing, because nobody ever quite articulated that lifestyle.
Ricochet's one of my favourite MCs.
No one ever quite articulated that lifestyle the way them man did. People might still talk about similar subject matter now. They're not articulating it. They're not illustrating it. They're not painting the picture for you.
What stopped them from releasing album after album? That's what I'm trying to say. Because they might be stopping themselves from doing it. They might think in their head, nobody wants to listen to my shit.
It is a
but
massive,
they do.
It's a massive sacrifice to give your life to this music, man. It sounds like the biggest cliche ever. You are gonna suffer for your art. You are gonna suffer. If you don't have some other kind of hustle, some other sideline, some other day job, some other focus in your life that's gonna, like, let's be real, we live in a capitalist society. If you don't have some other way of getting paper, and you want to focus on your art and believe in some kind of hippie, bohemian artist kind of ideology, you're gonna fucking suffer. Like, I'm telling you that from experience. So a lot of cats are like, I have fun doing this, but I ain't trying to
not paying the checks.
I want to enjoy my life. Like, you know, it's pain, my G. Like, really, artists go through pain.
So it's the sacrifice, really. They're not willing to go through that sacrifice, but
why should they? It will change your music.
Yeah.
Like, would I be making album? You know, would I be making this?
But you must know that you've got that fan base, though, bro.
Keep it real.
But you must know that you're not just another rapper in a sense where you've got that status in the game where people look towards you as a point of reference, man. Because we're talking about who you use as a reference. I'm telling you as a fact, a lot of rappers are using you as a reference, man.
Nah, real talk.
You know what I mean? Reference point
man, the Milky
for the
Bars
South,
are
the kids in
fam.
Devon, the kids in Bristol. Do you get me? Like, there's. So does that feed your inner kind of inner engine to know that there's cats that are like locking into what you're doing in order to fucking to fuel your energy, man?
It does feed me, but it's kind of like, you know, it's to some extent distracting from the creative process.
Yeah.
Because the creative process is best kept. Like, you just
you don't want to hone in on it.
You just need to entertain yourself and please yourself. The minute you start worrying about the audience, preconceiving how you going to sit down and create something when you're already trying to preempt how it's going to be received.
It's not even that. I'm just saying, does that fuel you?
But that's what happens. So that's what I'm saying. To answer your question, like, it fuels your drive because you know you've got an audience and you know you can see the influence you're having. but then it taints the purity of the creative process because you can't suddenly take that out of your mind. And knowing that it's still there in the back of your mind, you can't just separate that. So when you do get down to the creative, it's kind of like,
are they gonna like it?
Or or how will this translate to these kids or those kids or this audience or this artist audience or that? Oh, but this artist is doing that now, and I influence them, so I'm gonna be in that category. Like, it's all madness. You could go down a rabbit hole with that stuff. So it works, you know. It can give you, it can boost you, but it can just be a distraction. So you have to try and just be like, nah, let me do me, please me, and hopefully, you know, the audience will follow through. And I mean, it's interesting though. I mean, Apollo said to me with this album not that long ago. He said, you know, we did play through. He was like, it's going to be interesting to see how people start like picking different beats and doing a different. Approaching their music, you know, differently over here off the back of this album, and I was like, okay, I hadn't really thought about it. But
I've got a feeling a lot of other artists are gonna be trying this too.
I mean, hopefully.
That's just me, Pete. That's just me being real.
Setting the tone.
I mean, you know, the other way of looking at it is it's not even that artists are going to be trying to team, but like a certain type of artist who's covering a certain type, having a certain type of approach. Might feel a bit more confident in having that kind of approach.
So do you see yourself as a cult artist, as a cult figure? When I say that,
there's no doubt. I mean, there's no. I can't. I mean, if I couldn't not be that.
NME said it. You are. Isn't it?
But I mean, I couldn't not be if I tried. If I you know what I mean. As mainstream as I might want to be, I ain't ever gonna be that. I'm a cult.
Meaning that you've got a ton of people that follow your music. I wouldn't say religiously, but in the sense where they're gonna check it regardless. And there's a ton of people that listen to hip hop every day of their life and they've never heard of you. That's kind of how I look at cult. Meaning, a lot of people have no idea who you are, but they love hip hop. And then you've got the other side that don't even probably listen to that much hip hop, but they listen to you non-stop. That's kind of it's that kind of that weird kind of paradox. You know?
It's like. I mean. It's not a bad place to be in terms of the longevity.
Mate, it's much better than being an everyday fly-by-night rapper.
That's the longevity game. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm playing the long game now here, and I never really thought about it like that. But that's what people tell me. They're like, oh, I see how you're playing the long game, and you know.
But he's still here.
In terms of advice, not like change anything, but in terms of advice, what would you tell yourself, knowing of yourself now, that you might have wanted to know then?
Alright, I tell you what, I've got to keep it real because this is actually what I say to young artists. Shout out to Manic MC, because Manic, I've been saying this to him now because I just see myself in him where he just does not want to address. I'm putting you on blast, my G, but he's an artist, he's a creative, he's a lyricist, he just wants to write, be the best barsmith, and I relate to that so, you know what I mean? I relate to that so much. And the reality is, the longer you ignore the business, the harder it's gonna be when you realise, you know what I mean? It's like you're just dashing litter and you know what I mean? You don't look down, you realise I need to clean this house. You know, the sooner you get it in check, then it's in check and you're calm, you know? You're not calm because it's all gonna be drama, but it's manageable. I think like, as creative people, it's very tempting to just avoid handling your business. And
is that from a business like admin side of things, or more press, promotion, marketing?
Like
all of it. It's
all the shit that's not making music.
I feel all of them
bars.
things. All of them things. I would say, or I could say, if the question was to me, I would like. And I was to go back in time, I was like, know about other things instead of being lost. Like, see, he mentioned Manic. I was Manic. I kind of still, you know what I mean? And I wish, I still am, like, I wish, you know, like, know the brand, know the shit.
In the dictionary definition of the word, what I'm saying as well, though, is I'm not necessarily saying everyone has to go and do all of that for themselves. But don't not address it. Think about it. There's no magic.
Well, the one goes with the other, innit?
What it is it's part of the myth. It's part of the mainstream media myth that Simon Cowell is either going to hit the button or, you know what I mean? You're getting the green light or the red light. You know, the magic hand of fate is going to come and pluck you. You know, that happens to like one in literally a million.
But then even when it happens,
millions.
that don't last. You know what I mean? So if you look at a lot of what, it doesn't last. Even if you do get that big break, you could have
make it last.
like.
But what I mean, exactly. You might get that, and it's not even
No one gives
out
a
of
shit
it.
next
But
next month.
what I mean is the idea is that there's, I think, this really does answer your question. Actually, the main thing, the main misconception that I had when I was younger, and I think people to this day just is standard for people to have this misconception. So there's a linear trajectory for an artist. You get me?
Okay.
I'm gonna do this show with this many people, and then the next show's gonna be that many people. I'm gonna sell this many records, and then the next one will sell that many records. It's like the reality of an artist. You might still be on an upward incline, but you're going like that as you go up. Like there's no steady. And especially if you haven't got your shit on lock. Maybe if your shit is fully locked down, your staff, your manager, your label, your team is on board from album 1, album 2, album 3, there's a clear trajectory. But until but it can be if you've got the team in place and you build, let's keep it totally real. Like right now, there is certain people that are on that kind of thing because they planned for it. They
got professionals around
for
as
the
well.
success.
5-year plan.
Yeah, it's not like when the success comes, it's how do we manage this now?